Well, hello everybody. My dad had recently purchased my daughter one of these Power Wheels Mustangs, the Anna and Elsa Frozen variety. She really loves it. He's already started customizing it. It's got custom plates on the front and back now with her name on it. But he's decided to pimp it out a little bit, put some neon under it. So this is going to be a how-to video on pimping out your Power Wheels. Alright, first and foremost, safety is number one. So what we've got to do now is get this thing jacked up and supported with some jack stands. Do not ever trust a floor jack unless you're using stands underneath it. 2 kicks of the right leg, it's all over, and that is from one of my shop teachers from years past. So always be safe. Man, right out of the gate, running into problems. This is the way it always goes. This is a very low profile car and we don't have a low profile jack, so we can't get underneath it to jack it up and support it with these jack stands here. So we've got to come up with a different solution. Alright, well, we found our solution. Drive on rack. Problem solved. Alright honey, bring it on! Honey, you're going to overshoot the rack if you came on like that. Maybe I should get it up there. Alright, it was a scary proposition, but we got it up on here. Obviously the wheelbase for this car is a little bit narrower than the rack. So this is kind of what we've got to start with here. But we're going to put on some 40-50 ton rigging and tie downs, boomers, whatever we have to make sure that this thing stays put so nobody gets injured. Alright, everything's jacked up, safe, no problems getting underneath it. The first thing you need to do is acquire yourself some 12-inch, 12-volt neon tubes. Any color you like. These happen to be blue. A couple well-placed screws in the tabs back here, and that thing is on there for life. Coming out to a wire tie, and then these wires run down the rocker panel towards the front of the car. Alright, once you bring the wires to the front of the rocker panel here, you can go up and around this body mount, securing it with a cable tie. Then you need to pierce a few holes through this subframe, or front clip, whatever you want to call it, and start lacing up to the front. Now the front one up here, the neon, it didn't have any good spots for screws, so a little bit of tie wire or a couple cable ties, you're good to go. Make all your connections right here to wire up both lights, and then we'll move up top side. Alright, once you've made your connections here, 2 of these wires are actually going to run up to the battery and the switch. There's a convenient hole that was already here. You may need to drill it out a little bit bigger depending on the gauge of wire you used. Oh, about a double-aught gauge would probably do it. Maybe even a 4-aught if you really think these things are going to suck some amperage, because they might. Alright, now it's time to get up under the hood and look at this power plant. You got to be really careful with these things. There's no strong arms, no hood supports. These things will fall down and crack you on your noggin real hard. I've already got a bloody scalp. So make sure you use a hood support of some kind to hold that up, or you're going to be worse for wear. Need to disconnect the battery. Look at this honking thing. we had this thing dyno tested. This is 12 volts, but this car is putting out 436 horsepower. Can you believe that? Stock, mind you. We've not even done any tweaking on it yet. So right around up in this area somewhere, you bring your wires up. You may have to take out about 10,000 bolts, but you can get them up in there. Sever your wires to your battery, hook them up. One goes to the switch, one goes to the light. This black one here goes to the switch and loops down to the lights. This is color coded wrong, but that seems to be the way it works these days. You use what you have laying around. Make that connection, but don't hook this back up until you're finished with your job, or you may smoke the computer. Alright, once you get your wiring up finished underneath the hood, you need to pierce a hole through the firewall, unless you can find a spot to get those through here. Pierce a hole in the dash here. This is some really tough stuff. I had to break out a diamond bit to cut this hole. Maybe you can use a masonry bit or something along those lines, jackhammer. Just get a hole in there and mount your switch. It's real convenient right there on the dash. Now, this thing came fully loaded. It's got a in-dash cassette, taped CD, reel-to-reel, the whole 9 yards. Series, whatever's out there coming in from the satellite, GPS, you name it, it's on here. Only plays one station though. Gonna have to get that looked at under warranty. Alright, once you've used your VOM, your DVOM, your oscilloscope, and any other high-priced piece of gadgetry to verify you got all the wiring right, don't be an ID10T and forget to hook up your wiring and wonder why things aren't working. So always make sure you come back underneath here and reconnect your battery. Alright, if you're going through this much trouble to get it up on the rack, you might as well rotate your tires. This thing's got a lot of horsepower and she spins them all over the place, so to preserve the treads a little bit, we're going to go ahead and rotate them. I was kind of taken back. This car's got 36mm lug nuts on it. Can you believe that? Normally, I would flag down a Snap-on truck and spend about $600 or $700 for one socket, but in this case, just a one-time application, I went Taiwan. This will get the job done just fine. Simple enough. Alright, well that completes the mods to this car. Everything's working out just fine. We'll be firing this up after dark just so you can see how well it turned out. Now this is not really a how-to, it's more so of inspirational and educational, because if you do not have at least a $7,000 rack, a $5,000 toolbox with about $30,000 worth of tools in it, and one Taiwan socket, some wire, some neons and a switch, I would highly consider hiring out a professional because you might get hurt. So the total cost outlay to do this modification was about $42,000 for all the equipment and tooling required, a few $100s for a car, maybe $25, $30 for some lights, some miscellaneous wiring, butt connectors, this, that, and the other. But it's just an idea on what you can do if you're so well equipped. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching and good luck. Alright, go.